everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are having a great day. So today we are going to do a super fun challenge. I saw Emily Noel, which, oh my gosh, I love her. I have been subscribed to her for so long. I just love her. She's super down to earth. She's so thorough in her reviews. So anyway, I will link her video below because that's totally where I got the idea from. She did a video challenging herself to, if she lost all of her makeup, if you lost all of your makeup, what would be the top 10 things you would go out and repurchase immediately? So I thought that was such a brilliant idea because, oh my gosh, that would be such a tragedy, but you can always go repurchase stuff. And these are the things that I would go repurchase. Most of these things are at the drugstore because if I lost all my makeup and I had to buy a bunch of things like that at once, I would want to get what I could at the drugstore. But there are 2 or 3 products that I kind of splurged on, things that I haven't really found comparable at the drugstore yet, and things that I think would be worth splurging if I had to. So it was a lot of fun going through this, and you know what, honestly, it was so easy for me. Like, these are the things that I use every day. It was super easy for me, but I had fun doing it. It was a lot of fun. So let me know if you enjoyed this video, and let's jump into it. I'm actually gonna get ready with you guys using these products so you can really see them in action, see why I love them and why I would pick them. So let's get started. Okay, so we are first gonna start out with primer. Some people may skip this. It's going to be different for everybody just based on your preference, but I've been loving this product, and I think that this product is even good on days that you don't wear makeup, and that is the L'Oreal Glotion. This is in the color 901. I think they have 4 shades, so this is the lightest one. I kind of want the second one too, but every time I go to the store, they're sold out of 902, which is frustrating. Anyway, I'm going to apply this. It feels so good. It's super hydrating. It does give you a glow, but it doesn't get super oily throughout the day. And I find that it really does help my makeup adhere to my face, I guess, you know, like stick to my face better. So I did use a moisturizer already, but this just adds another layer of moisture and hydration and a little bit of a glow. Even by itself, it looks really pretty. The next thing is Holy Grail for me. It is the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. This is a newer foundation. The second I tried it, I fell in love with it. I'm in the color LN3. I've talked about this nonstop because I just love the formula. I've grown to love even this big old doe foot applicator. It just makes it easy. I don't have to mess with anything, you know, I don't have to get my hands dirty. I really prefer this foundation used with a brush. And I did not mention tools or anything in this video just because, well, there's no way I could pick 10 including tools. That would be like the impossible challenge. 10 products, and that has to include your tools. That sounds like a fun video though. This just gives such a pretty, healthy look to the skin. You cannot see it on the skin, but it covers up. That is one layer of foundation. That's all I'm gonna use today. So the third thing on my list that I would repurchase is concealer. And this is one where I could have went with a drugstore, but concealer, I just haven't found the one yet from the drugstore that beats the high end. So I would go and get Tarte Shape Tape. This is in the color Fair. I love this concealer. It is so good. Now, very comparable is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. This is comparable, less than half the price, and you can get this at Ulta as well. But personally, I think I would go with the Tarte Shape Tape just because it's just so good. You need the tiniest, I probably put too much, the tiniest amount of product, and it goes such a long way. So I am actually going to blend it out on my face here with this brush, but then I've been loving lately these little mini beauty blenders. Are they called micro beauty blenders maybe? I've been loving these for blending out concealer. This is just, see how full coverage that is? Just, you can't really beat it, man. I mean, that Makeup Revolution is pretty dang close, but it isn't as good, honestly. I would splurge and get the Shape Tape. If you haven't tried it yet, try it. So the next thing is another item that I would splurge on, but the reason is because A, it is so good, and B, it has so many products that we're gonna use. It is the Urban Decay Shapeshifter Skin Palette. It has creams, it has cream blush, highlighter, concealer, all that, and then it has also these 4 powder products. So it has a bronzer, a contour shade, a setting powder, and a highlighter. It's just an all-in-one palette. I think it's so good. The contour color is one of my favorite contours. This setting powder is what we're gonna use to set under the eyes. It's so good. You could use it to set your whole face. It's just that good. I don't typically always set my whole face with this healthy foundation. Maybe just I will take some of this in the T-zone, kind of on my chin, just because stuff tends to break down on my chin quicker. It gets more oily on my chin. And then maybe right here in the center of my forehead, but I'm still just using this powder that comes in this Naked palette. So I'm also going to take that on my lid just to kind of set that concealer, because that's another thing you can do is double up products. So use a concealer for a eyeshadow primer base, and then just set it with whatever you're setting the rest of your makeup with. But like I said, I'm actually not going to set the rest of my face. I am going to go in with this contour shade. This is the cream contour, and it looks so scary in the pan, but I used this for like a straight month. I love this cream contour shade. It's perfect. And I'm taking it on a Real Techniques brush. You see, I dipped into the product and it's not as scary as it looks. And I'm even kind of using some pressure. So this is one that you would you need to build up if you want more intensity. But for every day, it's just one swipe. It's just the perfect shade for my skin tone. It just works for some reason, even though I was scared to try it at the beginning because it just looks so dark in the pan. But it's just a beautiful cream powder, or cream contour. Like, I'm impressed. I think I like the formula even better than the Soleil Tan de Chanel. I mean, it's that good. Honestly, I prefer to not even set that. I just feel like that's a step I can skip. However, I'm going to dip into just both of these bronzer contour shades, the powder side, and kind of bronze up my neck, because my neck is so white. It's like my body is it has a little bit of color, but my neck and face have no color at all. I think my neck is even lighter than my face. It's so weird. So the 5th product is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Blush in Rose Champagne. This is one of my favorite blushes, and it's one of my cheapest blushes. These Wet n Wild, any of the Wet n Wild blushes, the formula is just really good. But this one in Rose Champagne is just the perfect everyday rose shade, but it's kind of a little bit more of a neutral rose. So it goes with everything. It goes with warm toned eyes. It goes with cool toned eyes. Goes with no eyeshadow. Sometimes I use this doubled up as like a bronzer as well, because you just throw it on your cheeks. It's super easy, and it can kind of contour out your face too, because it's kind of got that neutral undertone. I don't know, it really works, and it's a great price. So that is my 5th product. I have like a brush hair on my face. It's making my face itch. So there is a highlighter. There's a cream highlighter and a powder highlighter in this palette, so you could totally skip this next step. I don't wear eyeliner or anything like that, so I got to skip a few steps, and so I got to add a highlighter for like one of my products, which I was super pumped about because this is so good, you guys. It's the Physicians Formula Butter Highlighter. This one's in the color Pearl. Now, I've never seen these, I don't think, at like locally. I got this online, I believe, but this is just the most beautiful formula, shade, everything. You can apply this with a brush. Today I'm going to go in with this little beauty blender thing again, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's like a creamy, it's like the most creamy powder formula ever. It kind of reminds me, I've said this before, kind of reminds me of the ColourPop highlighters. Look at that. Oh my gosh, and there's a few different shades. I have another one that's kind of like a rose gold. It's beautiful as like a blush topper and highlight in one, you know. It's just, oh, these are so pretty. You can double these up as eyeshadows as well. They're so good. So the next product I was slightly torn between. The thing about it is an eyeshadow palette or eyeshadows are specific to you. You know what I'm saying? I really probably maybe would go buy the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, just because that is holy grail status to me. I think it's everything you need in one palette. But at the same time, like, that's expensive. And so I was thinking I might just go grab one of these Tin Pan Wet n Wild eyeshadow palettes. This is, you know, it's a newer packaging and such, but these eyeshadows are really good. This is super cheap. It's like $5 at the drugstore. And then I was thinking, you know what I might do? I might get on Hush, which is a website and an app, and pick up a few of the Bad Habit Beauty palettes. My favorite one is the After Party. But with this idea, it was like, well, you have to buy these online. So like I would have to wait for them to get there, which isn't a big deal to me because I don't wear eyeshadow every day. But and also you can take this palette, this Naked palette by Urban Decay, the Shapeshifter, and use these as eyeshadows and create a simple everyday look. But these are really good palettes. This is my favorite one. It was, I think, under $10. It might have been $9. It's just a really pretty, this is a little bit more cool tone, but I don't know what I would do. I would probably, honestly, in a panic, just buy one of these Wet n Wild palettes. I think they're really good quality. I think you can't beat the price. If I wanted to, I might make an order online and use this until it got in or whatever. I don't know. I'm going to go with the Wet n Wild palette. Man, that was like such a long explanation for that. But I don't know. That was my whole thought process. Okay. One bad thing about these Wet n Wild palettes is that they don't come with a mirror, so you kind of have to have a mirror. I'm just going to start with this transition shade and put this. Oh my God. I forget. Every time I use these, I forget how pigmented they are. Did you see? I like barely dip my brush in there, and look, seriously, what are we going to do? Like, this is going to take some blending, y'all. Oh my gosh. I've done that before. I think I've done it on camera with the Wet n Wild shadows. Like, I forget every time how pigmented they are, I think. Oh my God, that escalated quickly. So next I'm going to lightly dip into, let's do this camel color. Is it camel? I don't know. I feel like I have an eyeshadow called Camel that's this color, but it's kind of like that mustardy brown shade. I really like it. It reminds me of MAC Uninterrupted as well. It's really, I never realized how annoying it is to not have a mirror in an eyeshadow palette, because I keep having to like put my palette down. First world problems, right? It's still frustrating. I'm taking this brush. I didn't add anything to it, but I am going to sweep it under the lash line. I just looked up and realized that my camera wasn't even like filming. I don't know when it cut off, but I was using this shade right here, this mustardy brown shade, in a little bit on the outer corner, and then I took it on my lower lash line, and then this is just a brush and I'm kind of blending it out. I want to add a little bit of this kind of burnt orange shade just in the crease. I wasn't even intending on doing like an eyeshadow look, but I've been wearing eyeshadow the past few days, which is different for me because I went on like a hiatus from eyeshadow, and so the past few days I've kind of been really enjoying doing like this type of smoky eye, if you will. Okay, so what I just did was took some of that concealer that I used earlier and kind of carved out the inner half of my lid, because I'm going to pack on actually this highlighter shade from the Shapeshifter palette. So you could use your highlighter that you picked. You could use one of these lid shades. You know, lid shades are easy because you can use almost anything. You could even use, I've used blushes on my lid before, you know, but this highlighter is really pretty, and I'm just taking it and patting it all over where I placed that concealer. I feel like my lid shade has stayed on and popping, if you will, all day long once I place that concealer down, and it kind of just helps carve it out and look a little bit cleaner, if you will. I'm popping a little bit of that in my inner corner too, just to brighten it up a little bit. And the next thing that I picked was a mascara. I probably could have picked one from the drugstore. If I had to, I would have got the Maybelline Total Temptation mascara. But this is another thing where I probably would splurge on it. It's the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara. This is just my favorite mascara. I think it's so good. I think it's worth the price. You can also get the little mini, which is $14, and it lasts you about 3 months, which is when they expire anyway. So I always recommend getting that. The only reason I didn't is because they didn't have it available whenever I went to buy it. Okay, so the next product, this is number 9, is a brow product. Now, I kind of cheat the system because I do have microblading done. So this is my brows with no product in them, and it is definitely starting to fade. It's been about a year since I got it done. I need to get it touched up, but I'm not going to because it was legitimately one of the most painful things I've ever been through. Like, it hurt me so bad. I know some people it didn't hurt. It hurt me so bad. I did a whole video, like series vlog on it. I'll link it up here if you're interested. Anyways, back to what I was saying. You can also take a brown, like if you have, well, actually, even if you have blonde hair, there's this really pretty taupe in here that you could use. So you could use something from your eyeshadow palette. If you do get the Shapeshifter palette, there's a couple of powders that you can pick from in there, maybe mix between the two. There's a lot of different things you can do with your brows, but for me personally, I think I would spend the money on a brow gel. The Loreal Brow Stylist plumper is my favorite one. I just don't have it right now. I have the 3D brow tones by Benefit, but I don't think that it's worth getting a high-end brow gel because I think L'Oreal and a lot from the drugstore actually Wet n Wild has a good brow gel too, so I don't think necessarily you need a expensive one, but brow gel is important to me because I have long enough brows to where I wouldn't have to put a powder in them. The brow gels that are tinted is what I prefer because it gives you some color, but it also defines your brows and lets you kind of shape them how you want. if you do have brow hair. If you have nothing to work with, like me before microblading, I would get a brow pencil of some kind. So the very last product is actually the same one that Emily Noel talked about, and it is these new L'Oreal lipsticks, the color Riche Lip Shines. This one's in Shiny Peach, number 910. This is like an all-in-one lip product because it gives you color, but it also is kind of super hydrating, super moisturizing, and a little bit glossy, so you don't have to add a gloss on top of it. But they actually last on the lips a long time. Like I said, this one's in Shining Peach, and it's a peachy pink. It's just the perfect everyday kind of spring color, and I love it. I love the color. I love the formula. These are super, super comfortable on the lips. Definitely highly impressed with these guys. So those are the 10 things I would repurchase if I lost all of my makeup. Let me know in the comments below the things that you would run out and repurchase if you had such tragedy. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.